Chapter 31 The Laundry of Dreams. The joints of the glass door creaked as we entered the laundromat, a spacey and aged washateria housing 26 front-load washing machines. Faded fluorescent lamps shine over embrowned floor tiles. A few bugs buzz away near the light, and an old pop song is playing from the speaker on the ceiling. I assume you deemed that this distortion is not a threat to us, seeing that you walked into the place willingly, Dr. Moses. Vespa spoke, scanning the surroundings with his eyes. Ezra is watching something in front of one of the washing machines. A grade 3 fixer and their colleagues fell victim here.
An office was annihilated, and people went missing, right, Detective?
Not for long. They were found in another place, as different people altogether.
What exactly do you mean when you say they were different people altogether?
In the most literal sense. Their appearance stayed the same, but inside they were completely dissimilar from before. No one could recognize who they'd become.
Detective! Over here! I found a washing machine that's running right now!
Ezra waved me over. The machine rattles, laundry tumbling and spinning inside. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Laundry. Surely it won't be anything ordinary. Though it is hard to see what's inside while it's running. It would be a pretty reckless move to forcefully stop the machine. For now, I'll have to observe the place more. Dr. Moses, I see a storage and utility room there. I puffed out smoke and walked to the door Vespa pointed at. Was this laundromat not a self-service facility? If an owner is present, that will make this a different type of distortion from what I expected. The existence of a room dedicated to collecting laundry suggests that the owner of the laundromat manually cleans the clothes customers entrust them. However, I don't see a cash register or any other sort of station that a staff member would work at. Vespa, open that door. And Ezra, look around a little more.
Roger!
Upon opening the door to the storage room, a refreshing scent of fabric softener wafted out through the air. The sight that unfolded before our eyes, however, was anything but refreshing. This is a butcher's shop. Human skin is suspended up on hangers. I see how it is. I blew out a puff of tobacco smoke. Peel off a human skin and wash their inside clean. That's what this laundry of dreams is, typical of the city. Provocative procedure like skinning humans alive or some such doesn't come as a surprise anymore. The next question is its purpose. I have to wonder, does the act of washing signify purification, or does it imply change? I have a feeling that the latter is more likely to be the case. There's desire to become someone else and stand out among the stereotyped city folk. It should be stronger than the desire to get clean, at the very least. In a coin-op such as this, the act of washing is as simple as putting clothes in the washing machine and inserting a coin. Looking at the human hide that's hung here, it seems the people who visited this place took off their own skin and left it here. When did it happen? Right after entering the laundromat? After inserting the coin? But wouldn't the laundry have to be inside the machine first? It's still a hazy mystery. If this space was deceiving people's perception, my eyes would have caught the process. I don't see a sign of such illusion yet. I guess I should investigate the washing machines once again. Let's go back out.
Detective! I can't get the washing machines to work using ordinary coins.
Ezra, you dimwit. Who told you to fiddle around with the washing machine? Don't mess with the distortion while I'm not around.
Okay,
Ezra answered in a dispirited voice. There are several problems when a person who can't see the distortion is involved in solving cases of the distortion. For instance, they might walk into a gaping mouth full of teeth that I can vividly see, or be enticed into doing something not knowing they're being pulled by shadowy hands. Thus, it takes a person who can see the various sides of the distortion to aptly handle it.
Detective, would it matter if I got a coin from the exchange machine here?
I put my hand on my forehead. Ezra is the type to leap into action before putting any thought into it. I gather my thoughts while Ezra acts. To solve a distortion, someone has to be the guinea pig. Still, the curiosity and boldness of this child is quite a challenge to handle now, even for me. Give that to me.
Okay.
With a loud noise, the room trembled up and down. The coin slipped from Ezra's hand while she was trying to pass it over to me. Ezra, grab that! Before I could finish that sentence, Ezra swiftly moved her palm below the coin. The thing seemed to land on Ezra's hand, but it won't stop falling. It makes a hole in her hand and reaches the floor, as if it has to. The coin rolls around the floor before it falls down the drain.
Ow!
Ezra groaned, holding her punctured right hand. Dr. Moses, look behind you! Following Vespa's words, I turned around. The door to the storage room vanished. A loud mechanical noise came at a distance. Something's already happening. The coin Ezra acquired couldn't have been dispensed from a vending machine for no reason. A coin exchange machine. Something was traded away for the coin. I held the smoking pipe in my mouth. The space is distorting. Did the ceiling just switch places with the floor? I blew out tobacco smoke. As Vespa noticed, the room is slowly twisting and twirling.
Detective, is it just me, or does your body feel icky and stuffy? Ugh.
Ezra's body is slowly being filled with filth that resembles viscous blood. For I can see the distortion, I need quick wits and good sense. I need to be able to tell if what I'm seeing is a sign visible only to me or a manifestation that everyone can perceive. The answer is in experience, and experience tells me I'm likely the only one who can see that filth.
Detective, do you remember? I was a coward during the war. I won't be forgiven either, right?
This topic again. The memories of that day are one of the subjects commonly brought up whenever a distortion evokes Ezra's traumas. The memories of Smoke War. They haunt Ezra and I constantly. I become an expert at dealing with such trauma thanks to that. The memories will be unbearable to her, and she will cause some kind of trouble as a result.
Away with this dirty body!
I heard the sound of something being unzipped. The skin of the human we knew as Ezra was stripped off from her head to shoulders, knees, then toes. The side of a person that no one wants to see. It could only be described as a form that I can't dare look at. A heap of desires. I couldn't stand the sight, so I shut my eyes tight. Oh, Ezra. Vespa, keep your eyes closed! I bit into the smoking pipe and exhaled a white breath. The room was filled with mist. Vespa's mind could be affected if he sees her current form. I immediately breathed in and let out a violet breath. I wrapped the violet whip around the silhouette that I think is Ezra. And do your absolute best to stand still. I can't handle 2 people doing idiotic things at once. Understood, Vespa responded. I got the pattern down. Once the human takes off their skin, they'll put it in one of the washing machines. Then they'll head to the storage room and wear another person's husk. Wearing the clean and new clothing, they leave the laundromat as a brand new individual. If Ezra reaches that point, there won't be much I can do. I'll be losing her forever. To avoid that, I stopped her in her tracks somehow. Distortions are solved through contradiction. The deeds that are considered natural and mandatory here must be denied and reversed, making the person wear their contaminated shell back before it could be washed. Such an action will weaken the distortion of the laundry of dreams. What can we do to make her put her own skin back on? Forcefully put it on her? No, she must wear it voluntarily. She has to wear her own shell, knowing that it's still a filthy husk. That's how we can deny this place. This space. Can I not slash it? There's no guarantee that it won't backfire. Destructive measures should be taken as the last resort. That means it's not entirely out of the question. I shall prepare myself in that case. Vespa kept his eyes closed and put his hand on the sheath of his sword. It's a huge relief that he wasn't afflicted with the distortion's influence. I have no clues about Vespa's past or his trauma. Learning of his past will be a process of trial and error, no doubt. That time will come one day, and it will be unavoidable. I'll have to take my time to know him. That is to say, I know well how to handle Ezra after spending much time with her. Tell me, do you think your current self is filthy? I've got too much blood on my hands. I'm dirty. I hate myself. I like you for who you are, even if you think it's unclean. Forthright, without redundancy, I say out exactly what I think of Ezra, straight to her. Really? The answer is easy, but it's always an ordeal for me to speak it out. I really do. Ezra's conscious of others' attention, especially mine. I like that side of hers. All things considered, I can't bring myself to hate her. Ezra is my coworker and subordinate, and it's my responsibility to take care of her. The mass of flesh that is probably Ezra picks up the smelly, filthy husk and wears it once more. The laundromat stops twirling and bending, and gradually returns to how it looked before. Soon afterwards, the space begins to shrink. Vespa, get Ezra and shove the hell out of here! We quickly sprinted towards the front door. The cold evening air and the moisture of damp drizzle assailed my nostrils. We managed to escape safely. The laundry of dreams was behind us, reduced to the size of a small toy house. Has the case been solved? Vespa asked, carrying Ezra on his shoulders. Quite. Is it always like this? That wasn't nearly as dramatic as I expected. I didn't even have to help. Only because I knew who I was dealing with. That's why Ezra and I are working together. I placed my pipe in my mouth. This case was tame and simple compared to other recent events. And staying still was a big enough help. If you were in Ezra's shoes, I might not have been able to do anything. Besides, the distortion is ultimately a human affair. Oftentimes, things are covered up, and details are glossed over. That sounds like how human relationships go. I puffed out smoke. He's dead on the nail. This is just like solving relationship issues between people. If I try to ignore the root of the issue and turn away from it, it can be ended on an ambiguous note. In this case, I didn't bother to understand the cause or process of the distortion, nor did I try to make the subject understand it, because it's not my business, because it wasn't necessary. Dr. Moses, If our objective was to solve the distortions rather than capture them, would it be possible to revert that laundromat to a human? It should be. The steps will be more complicated than what we did just now. Are you curious? The distortion is also similar to human relationships, in that the problem gets harder to solve if I try to face it directly and bring it to a definite conclusion. Never mind. If it's something I must know, you will elucidate at some point. I picked up the Laundry of Dreams and stored it in the trunk. At this size, there's no need to call Udjat to help retrieve it. Vespa laid Ezra on the back seat of the vehicle. Did you two participate in the smoke war? I don't feel like talking about that at the moment. Understood. Vespa took the driver's seat. I shook ash off my smoking pipe and sat in the passenger's seat. Then I manipulated my prosthetic arm. Beep beep. Han Hei-jun. Yes, doctor? A detestable, sodded voice comes out of the arm. We've taken care of the Laundry of Dreams. We're moving on to the case of the human thunderbolt. Looks like you've solved the case safe and sound. I'm ending the call. Hold on, Doctor. Did you meddle with the Kurokumo clan by any chance? We did. So, he somehow found it out. He sure is a competent informant, and he's most certainly going to give me a chewing out for this. The Kurokumo clan is a thumb subsidiary. I suggest avoiding conflict with the finger if you wish to complete the mission. As if I'm some kid that needs his nagging. Beep beep. The thumb is decent, compared to the index. At least I won't be talking to a wall. Dr. Moses. Are you scared that we might have to face a finger? If we ever happen to confront the thumb, please let me lend my strength. This child has his stories, I see. That's up to me to decide, depending on the situation. Vespa seemed to think for a moment, with his eyes closed. All right. The car slowly trudged through the mist. Chapter 32. The Human Thunderbolt. The difference in scenery between day and night is small here, but I can tell from the gradually shrinking halo of light in the foggy sky that it's evening. We seem to be approaching our destination. The car shakes pretty badly, running over some form of objects scattered on the road. They're likely corpses. On the way, I read one of the case reports Han Hee-jun gave me. The Human Thunderbolt, graded Urban Plague. It says bolts of lightning will thrash about in the mist when it's present. The Human Thunderbolt leaves completely charred bodies in its wake, emitting a burning smell. Lightning is an electrical phenomenon. Thus, it's related to hysteria or neurosis. Sparks fly off and conduct electricity, leaving sharp and tingling wounds on anyone that stands around it. It'll be fast and painful. Dr. Moses, someone is after us. Vespa spoke. I see dark figures running alongside the car through the window. This vehicle most certainly isn't moving at a slow speed.
Detective! They pulled out a knife!
Ezra shouted. We will suffer a considerable setback if we lose this car. Diaz gave us this van, so it won't break easily. However, we don't know what the unidentified group is capable of. We have to make a careful choice here. Vespa, can you give them the slip without damaging the car? Won't be an easy feat, I'm afraid. Then we'll stop it right away. The car lurched to a sudden halt, creating a loud noise. The group surrounded the van in an instant. Is it another syndicate like the Kurokumo clan? Whatever they are, they probably won't stand a chance against Ezra and Vespa, and we're less hesitant to get violent after spilling blood here once. Ezra, Vespa, get out of the car. This is different from the Kurokumo clan situation. Now, we're in the middle of L Corp's nest, where there are many variables. We have to promptly prepare ourselves for battle. As soon as I got out of the car, a burning stench struck my nose. It might be the supposed trace of the human thunderbolt, according to the report. Another particular scent stung my nose. It's the acidic smell of tobacco. This smell. Those in the know are familiar with it. Vespa drew his huando right away. Ezra slipped on Alla's workshop gauntlets and cracked her knuckles. The figures in the mist reveal themselves. The smiling faces. They're wearing masks at the Haho village. The syndicate is characterized by their steel masks grinning from ear to ear. They smoke performance-enhancing narcotics from the gigantic pipes they're carrying. We've run into an urban nightmare-class syndicate while trying to solve an urban plague case. It's not an unlikely occasion. The syndicate started out in the east of the city, but their influence has grown over time, and now they're all over. Are you here to eat us? I placed my pipe in my mouth. They can be conversed with at the very least. A moment of silence passed.
Detective? Why won't those chatty guys speak at all?
Keeping her eyes to the front, Ezra asked me this in a tiny voice. I'm wondering the same thing. They're strangely quiet for how talkative they usually are. There seems to be 7 of them, and that's not a small number. The smiling faces quietly bite their giant smoking pipes, inhaling and exhaling smoke. I blew out smoke as well. Their movement is different. They're known for their uncanny ways of acting, but something is particularly odd about this group. They twitch their bodies as if they were wooden puppets, and there are faint sparks of electricity flowing through them. They're coming, Vespa said. Puffing out smoke in the mists, the smiling faces commenced running to us. Their massive smoking pipes double as blunt weapons. It also contains a hidden blade sheathed in the bowl of the pipe, sort of like a sword stick. Ezra faced 2 of them charging at us. One of them swung a smoking pipe in a large arc, and she struck the bowl of the pipe with her fist. It made a small dent in the pipe, throwing the attacker off balance.
Ow! Detective! Oh, my fist hurts so bad!
Whining, she accelerated her other hand with the Allah's workshop gauntlet and struck her fist into the chest. The blow sent the opponent flying into a wall. The other one struck a blade at Ezra's arms. I let out a purple breath to slow the blade down. Ezra took out a Nestor hammer in the meantime and hit the aggressor on the forehead. The metallic objects rang as they clashed. The hammer got crumpled from the impact. The mask, on the other hand, is intact. Vespa takes the rest of them on the other side. Yellow traces dance the air like lightning bugs. Just then, Vespa turned to us and pitched the harpoon he had been carrying at his waist without hesitation. Whoosh! The harpoon tore through the air and hit the left shoulder of the smiling face standing before Ezra, making them drop their weapon. Ezra immediately took out her Stigma workshop blade and stabbed it into her opponent. The Stigma blade made a sizzling sound in their chest. Paying no attention to that piercing injury, the opponent hit her lower jaw with their knee. Those bizarre gestures. The smiling faces are being controlled by something. The human thunderbolt has to be the culprit, judging from the purple electric discharges flowing through their bodies. Ezra and Vespa aren't overwhelmed by the smiling faces, but they can't seem to gain the upper hand on them either. I drew a deep breath. Seeing how strong and agile they are, the violet whip I usually wield won't even reach them, let alone keep them in place. I let out a deep violet breath. The pipe morphed into thick chains. Ezra, throw that harpoon at me! Ezra pulled the harpoon from the smiling face's shoulder. In that brief moment of vulnerability, one of the smiling faces smacked her in the cheek with a smoking pipe. Pow! Ezra's head was knocked upwards, but she managed to stay upright and toss the harpoon. It buzzed in the air before landing at my feet. I tied the violet chain around the tip of the harpoon. Vespa! Vespa recalled the harpoon right on cue. It was then flung with a roar and nailed one of the smiling faces straight away. As the harpoon was lodged in them, the chains coiled around their body. Their movement is restrained, much like a ship with its anchor dropped. The harder they struggle to break free, the harder the chains tighten. The squeezing pain around my brain grows worse too. The pain is killing me. My head swims, and my mind wavers. However, the chains will disappear if I let go of my consciousness. Ezra didn't miss this chance. She threw a low kick at the hindered target. The attack broke their leg, bringing them down to their knees. Then she manifested Psychomint on her other leg and delivered a kick straight to their head. The cranium was smashed along with the mask. Vespa speedily retrieved the harpoon and hurled it at another one. Vespa earns time with the harpoon, and Ezra lands the finishing blow. At a stable pace, the smiling faces are defeated one after another. Before long, Vespa took the head off the last one of them.
Phew! We somehow made it out alive, Detective!
I nodded, putting my pounding head in my hands. Dr. Moses, these were not like the ones I knew. Something seemed to be manipulating them. I walked to one of the decapitated heads of the smiling faces on the ground and removed the mask. A grinning face on a burnt head was all there was underneath. Light flashed from afar. A crack of thunder followed it shortly afterward. Suddenly, a stroke of light zipped past us. The light burned the fog upon its path. It cleared off mist within a radius of 10 meters. Around 500 corpses were revealed to us, all burnt to a crisp.
Detective?
Ezra isn't surprised at the sight of the bodies, but rather by what they're doing. Every burnt corpse begins to move at the same time, twitching and twisting. Could it be moving the bodies through electric stimuli? There's corpses lying on the road and bodies inside buildings. All the scorched cadavers nearby rise and rush at us. The smiling faces we had just slain also stood up, lousily folding and snapping their bodies. This thing is no urban plague. I placed my hand on my forehead. A purple humanoid form watches us from afar. Purple certainly is an uppity color. Vespa, does the human thunderbolt appear to be frozen in place right now? Vespa carefully squinted at it. It's moving. It's not stationary. The human thunderbolt is moving from place to place to send electric currents, controlling the corpses with the stimuli. The plan is the same. I stop it in its tracks, and you cut it down. How much time will you need until then? 10 minutes. Vespa nodded. Let me ask you back. How much time will it take for you to do it? A second is all I ask. That's dependable. Vespa will handle the smiling faces in front of us. Meanwhile, the living, swimming corpses appear to be regular citizens. Ezra should be able to fend them off on her own. Ezra, protect me, but don't get yourself killed doing it.
Got it. You can count on me, Detective.